Hello everyone, welcome to Cinema Today. I am Pastor Jeff, and the movie that I like to talk about today is called Hacksaw Ridge. It is a movie based on a true story that happens during World War II. It follows a soldier, a person named Desmond Doss. Now, Desmond Doss was not just your average soldier. He was actually a conscientious objector. What that means is a person who refused to bear arms. Despite his beliefs, he joins the army to serve as a combat medic. But because of his beliefs and his refusal to bear arms, he gets into a lot of trouble, especially during training time. The army doesn't take too kindly to people who are different or who stands out. And because of his defiance, he refuses orders to train, to participate in basic training, to hold his weapon. He gets into a lot of trouble. He gets insulted, he gets beaten up by his fellow squad mates, he gets sent to jail, he gets tortured, he even gets nearly kicked out of the army. But despite all these hardships, he eventually finishes his training and goes to Japan to serve as a combat medic. Now, the particular scene that I like to talk about that I really enjoyed was when they're at Okinawa and they're at this in the front lines, and the American army is trying to take this hill, and this hill was of strategic importance. But this hill, to get on top of this hill, you had to climb up a ridge. And now the Japanese soldiers were lying in ambush for the American army on top of this hill, because they knew that the access to the hill was very difficult. So if the ambush were to be successful, the American soldiers would be cut off from reinforcements and also from retreating. And the Japanese army did exactly that. They ambushed the American army, and the American army was stuck on this hill, and they suffered heavy casualty. Now, Desmond Doss, he fortunately did not get injured, but while the American army was suffering heavy casualty and they were on retreat, they left the wounded, and the people could not climb back down the hill behind. Desmond Doss, he stayed behind to save and rescue the wounded. And despite all the bullets flying around and the Japanese soldiers still there, Desmond Doss went out of his way to save his fellow brothers, his fellow soldiers, people who persecuted him, insulted him, rejected him, and beat him up. Desmond Doss stayed behind to help them, rescue them. And eventually he saved of about 75 people. Now, this scene reminded me of Christ's love, and how he was so passionate and compassionate for the wounded, for the dying, that he, despite the people rejecting him and insulting him and not having any concern for him, Christ went out of his way to rescue us. Desmond Doss, he went out of his way. He could have retreated and ran away just like the rest of the soldiers, but he stayed behind because he had compassion for the wounded and the dying. At the end of the scene, as he finishes the rescuing, all the soldiers there have a newfound respect and love for him, displayed by his sacrificial acts. I hope that you guys are also able to watch this movie and participate in this amazing movie. But I have to warn you, it's a war movie and it's pretty violent. So if you don't mind the violence, I really want to encourage you to watch this movie. Now, this is the end for our cinema today. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure hearing about all these different kinds of movies and also sharing about these different kinds of movies. And I hope you have a blessed day today.